Hello, and welcome back to Cool Discussions, guys. We've been gone for a little bit. Unfortunately, my wife had a little bit of an accident on a trampoline on my son's birthday, and she dislocated her knee, so we had to, I was unable to come and do our wonderful show because I had to take care of her and my children for the last little while.
Yeah, she couldn't move around, and then trying to deal with a toddler that's just starting to walk. That's not easy to deal with when you can't move around.
So unfortunately, she's on the mend. She's getting a little bit better. So hopefully, it'll be still another month till she's back to reality. So unfortunately, that's why we haven't been here. But we're back now, and we'll be back on a weekly basis to speak out of our mouths and spew our shit. I guess. Spew our opinions, because opinions are like assholes, and everybody has ones, including us.
Yes.
I'm Barry, just in case you forgot.
And I'm Chris.
So let's get started. We're going to talk about a little bit of, because we're in Canada, we're going to talk about the federal budget that just was released, 3 weeks ago? Who knows? They sent it out, and everybody's looking it over, trying to critique it, and it's the same old bull crap to me in my eyes. Justin Trudeau, our pretty little prime minister, who takes
Prime Minister selfie.
Yeah, who takes more pictures than does anything good for the country. He ran on a campaign promise of a $10 billion deficit.
Yeah.
And what does this one come on? Surprise, surprise! The government lied to you again. $30 billion deficit.
Now, okay, once he took over office, he did say, looking at the numbers, we probably are going to go over budget this year. And it's like, okay, that's fine.
Don't you look at the numbers before you get elected? Are they not public knowledge?
Since we've had a major shift in economics, Alberta, which has been the economic engine of Canada, one of the have province, one of like 3, maybe 4 have provinces right now. I could be wrong on that, but they basically went from a have to a have-not province in a matter of months. And so, Alberta's not paying taxes anymore. So if they're not paying taxes, which have been a huge addition to the coffers.
Provinces.
Yeah. Because we're not paying taxes, they can't balance their budget because they're just losing so much money.
Imagine if you went to, I don't even know who okay, we get our tax revenue, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. But then when we go into debt, who do we owe this money to?
A bank.
A bank. Okay, imagine if we went to our bank. Imagine if we went to our bank and said, hey, I want to borrow $50,000 because I got to do some stuff, right? And then you come back and they go, okay, no problems. And you come back and go, you know what, actually, that 50 is actually going to be 150, and I've already spent the money. So you have to give it to me anyways. Imagine if we did that, what the bank would do. They'd be like, what are you, nuts? And we can just go we're in debt, so why don't we just go trillions of dollars in debt? Who's going to pay it off? Who's going to come collect it from us? What, is the bank going to repo the country? Who? I don't understand it. So we go into debt.
That is one of those things that I have no understanding, and a lot of people have no idea what goes on in that regards. Who do we owe this money to? I know it's a bank.
So our grandchildren's are going to be paying 50% tax eventually. I think that we're in a I thought this. I thought there's always this question: is there other intelligent life forms out there, right? And I sit there and I think there probably is, but they'll never come visit us because of how stupid we are. We blow each other up. We run debts. We elect the same people on the promises and lies continually over and over.
Okay, hold on. In the States, though, they have a real shot of electing somebody who isn't normal.
Yeah, he's crazy.
So?
He's being compared to Hitler. You think if I was an alien or another intelligent race and I would see that, I go, it's like watching a TV show. It's like watching the Kardashians down there. You know what I mean? The United States is the Kardashians for the intelligent life form out there. They got cameras, like the Truman Show. They got cameras. They're watching us right now. They're watching us and they're going, God, that guy's smart. We should take him away. So I'm not going to be here next week because I'm going to be with the aliens.
Rump of Berry.
Man, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to be an alien. Wicked. Guys, it's been a slice. I'm gonna go check out the new No, I hope they still have boobs. Because boobs
3
are
boobs.
my...
3 boobs on a person.
No, 2 are fine.
No, 3.
2 are fine.
3, 4, 8.
8. Boobs on the back. Hey. That just made that position a whole lot more interesting.
Hey, yeah, no kidding.
Yes. Okay, sorry. We just back to
We
the
veered off a little there.
back to the incompetence of our government here. Now they've sat there and they've promised to create jobs, which every government does.
It's true.
So what's happened though? In Alberta, we've lost
100,000.
100,000 jobs since our new provincial government has been elected. They've changed the EI procedures. We used to have to wait 2 weeks. Now we got to wait a week. But even
Really? That's it?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, but apparently when somebody like myself needs it, they go, "You didn't work enough," even though you did, and it's a bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah, and
It's just
I ran into that
Yeah.
same problem too. It's like, oh, no, sorry, you're not allowed. I'm like,
Why? Because
But
you don't
I
have
pay-
enough hours in the last 52 weeks to and what? But what? I worked for 10 years with no disruptions. I take on some cash work because a buddy of mine can do that for me, and now I need it, and you can't do it. Silly. Get rid of that program. Number one. They've cut some taxes for the middle class.
not really.
That's what they said they did.
Okay.
Who
One,
knows?
they cut taxes for the middle class. They raised taxes on the upper class. But here's the thing. And they said it was supposed to be a revenue-neutral tax
So it's supposed
credit debit thing.
to equal out.
Yeah, it's supposed to equal out. Well, guess what? Apparently now there aren't enough rich people to cover the tax cut in the middle class, so they're actually losing more money. And to top it all off, lots of economics people have crunched the numbers, and they found that people who make anywhere from $45,000 to $75,000, which is the bottom end of the middle class, don't actually see any benefit. They might see like $345 a year, and the people who are making $200,000
See the benefit.
actually make like another $5,000 back.
So
that's not really a tax cut for the middle class. That's a tax cut for the
Here's my
lower
solution.
upper class.
Here's my solution. I got a couple ideas, and number one, I think we need to kind of peel back all the layers of our tax regulations, and I think we need to just start from square one again. We're working on a tax laws that are probably old as fuck. Imagine you're still driving around today in a Model T. How silly would that seem, right?
Wow, seeing
know
a
what I mean?
Model T drive around and good running
Well, it'd be
condition
cool.
would be awesome.
Well,
I'm
it'd be
sorry
sweet,
to say that.
but you get my analogy.
Okay.
It would be asinine if I'm using a flip phone right now.
Yeah.
You would be looked at like a weirdo. And so I think we need to go back and go. I propose just a 10% flat tax across the board.
Actually, they say 15.
Okay. Whatever the number is, I don't know what the number is, but what's the tax percent now? Like 20 some odd, right?
Something around that.
That's the lowest bracket, right?
But the problem with that is the fact that there's so many loopholes that you can use to get around.
This is
and
where
not pay taxes.
We close all those loopholes.
No, I agree.
Completely 100%. No loopholes. 15% done.
Done.
You pay every
If you make $100 million,
Yep.
you pay
150,000.
Done.
Done. That's it.
No,
No ifs, ands, or buts. No, I'm going to write this off. I'm going to move my money over here. No, if your money is made in Canada, 15%, whatever it needs to be.
Yep.
Right? Done. Okay?
I can live with that.
I could live with that 100%. Because, number two, we need to trim the fat in the government and actually trim the fat. Get somebody in there who's actually going to trim fat. Not go, I'm Prime Minister, I make $250K for 40 years. I'm set
he
after
makes more
that.
than that.
Well, whatever he makes.
He makes
You know
like
what I mean?
$350,000.
Yeah, whatever he makes. Plus all the
and to
tax-free
top-
money and
to
all the
top
expense
it,
accounts.
To top it all off, like the government actually gave themselves a raise.
Yeah.
The federal government gave themselves a raise. I think it was like only like $6,000. But think about that. In Alberta, 100,000 people have lost their jobs. Me, in my business, like we deal a lot with oil and gas, but we also deal with all kinds of other people too. I'm losing
been affected,
hours.
right?
Yeah. I'm on a short shift every day. So I'm losing that money. And here
Here our governments, our leaders,
giving themselves
a raise and sitting there back living the good life. So I think we should trim the fat. Okay, let's see who really wants to be a politician, and let's cut their wages. Let's drop them down to, I don't know, $60K, $50K a year for MPs, and so on and so forth. You know, up to maybe $100K for the top guys.
75 to 125.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the leader of our country probably can make a little bit more.
Yeah, no,
you know, maybe 150, something like that. But no more. Let's see who really wants to be a politician. Let's see who is really there. Okay, let's take out all their fucking perks. No tax-free money. Nothing like that. You're just like a normal human being.
If you have a flat tax, then, you know, because in Canada, politicians are allowed, they make X amount of dollars, and half that money is tax-free. So if you're making $100,000, you only pay taxes on 50. So, really? You're paying as much in taxes as I do, and you're making double. Yeah. Oh, probably less, because
they probably expense everything. And
they expense everything. They also pay into RSPs,
Don't
which
they get
the
like
government
a monthly
matches.
rental allowance?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Come on.
Okay, for people living in Vancouver who have to spend 3 or 4 months in Ontario, that makes a lot of sense.
I suppose, but if you're making $100K a year, then maybe you should just, you know, I don't know.
Well, you know what you should do is just build a dormitory on the grounds, and this is all the liberals live here, all the conservatives live here, all the NDP live here, and that's what you do, and then they go down for breakfast, have breakfast, communal breakfast. You know, they do that for 3 or 4 months.
Let's really see who wants to be in politics. You know what I mean? There was another thing. Let's see. You know how we let people into our country? Refugees and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. I'm 100% totally fine with that. Now, here's my thing. Okay? There's a whole bunch of people who want to let this happen, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's really easy to do that when you don't have to put money out of your own pocket. When it's taxpayer money. So this is I propose that if you want to sponsor that, we'll use the Syrian refugees. If you would like them to come over, then you have to privately sponsor them.
And that's what a lot of people do, yeah.
So if you want somebody, you are responsible for that individual for 6 months to a year, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And after that, then fine. They should be stable enough to have kind of a job and stuff like that. So anything that happens is on you. It's on your dime. You have them come to your house. It's not on a taxpayer. We're not spending whatever $25 million to have them come, or whatever it is to have them come to our country.
It is figured that it's going to cost us $1 billion over the next 3 or 4 years just to teach them English.
Like, who's paying for that?
Taxpayers.
Exactly. So sometimes my kid isn't getting a proper education and isn't getting the proper attention in school that he needs because we're short, because there's so many, but yet we can spend $1 billion on other people coming here. Like, that's not my issue is that when you take my tax money, okay, I get it, but then you spend it, you don't...
Recklessly?
Yeah, you mismanage it.
A good example of the federal government actually misspending their money is the fact that it's a $30 billion deficit. There is actually not a lot allocated to this job creation because they said, we're going to spend money on infrastructure, It was like
$128 million or something. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but it was...
It's
a drop. Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket.
Change. And a lot of what he's spending is like upwards of like $5 billion for green initiative. Now, I know you environmentalists will get like a little antsy about this, but green initiatives are fine in your own country. He's committed to spending like $2.5 billion to other countries becoming green. Well,
this makes no sense. Yeah, it just makes no sense why we're giving money away when in our own country we're having problems meeting the needs of our own. You know what I mean? I read something on Twitter now. I don't know if this is true or not. It could just
the internet, yeah.
It's the internet, so it's, who knows. But it was a tweet that said the world spends $1,735 billion a year on war. World poverty can be eradicated for $175 billion.
Yeah. Oh no.
If this is true, okay. If this is any remote inclination to be true, we all need to look in the mirror and ask what we're doing.
It's been documented of how much money is spent on war every year can be used to feed the entire world for a year. So, like, yeah, we're humans. We fight.
What are we doing? That is just asinine. You know what I mean? Imagine you were spending tons of money to blow up your neighbor. And there was,
I
a
wouldn't
neighbor.
spend tons of money. I'd just make sure I get it done right the first
Well, yeah,
time.
obviously. But it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Like, we're putting these people in office who are career politicians, and to me, career politicians are, like, they're just no good. Like, what? You need people who are gonna make the hard decisions and make the hard choices and not upset people. People are gonna get upset by moves that are made, but they have to be made in the best interest of long term. Past the 4 years that you're in office, past, like we got the NDP government here in Alberta right now. After 4 years, they're not going to be there anymore. They're not. There's no way that this government will stick because so many people are upset. Which
I hope.
I have no idea why we voted them in anyways. If you're so mad,
it was a. Everybody thought, "Oh, I'm going to vote NDP because somebody else is going to vote.
Somebody else will take care of it."
Yeah, exactly. And it was a total fluke run. In theory, it shouldn't happen again. However, there's a possibility that the right wing vote is going to be split. Blah 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 blah. Anyways,
I think we should
totally different subject.
Yeah. We need to get rid of a lot of the social programs that we have, like the EI. I don't think it should be. It should be optional. You know what I mean? If I want to opt into it, you guys can take my money, but it's there whenever I need it. It's not. There's no criteria that I have to go into it. If I pay into it, imagine if we went into our banks and our banks went. We go to our bank and we've been putting money in our RSPs, right, or whatever, right, and then we go to take it out and they go, "Oh, you don't meet the criteria to take it out." We would be like, "Give me my money. I'm taking it to another bank."
Actually, banks can do that with their RSPs.
Really?
Yeah.
They can be like, "You don't meet the criteria." No.
You can take your money out.
Well, it's taxable.
No, but you
fees,
take your money out, but they say there are government rules stating that you have to pay it back if you're just doing it for this XYZ. If you're actually closing your RSP, you can empty it out. But if you're actually taking the money out for a loan or to use as collateral, you actually have to pay it back.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But imagine, my point is, imagine if you went to your bank and they've been taking money off your paychecks every week, and they say that, "Oh, you can't have it." Not you have to repay it. It's you can't have it at all. It's not there. There's no way that we can give it to you for these reasons. And it's like, what? But that's my money. You've been taking it off me for, X amount of years. For there should be $10,000 in my employment insurance account, and
no,
it's not there.
The system is set up.
Let's get rid of it.
The system is set up in such a way that unless you're rich or you have a degree, you can't take advantage of it, and it's not really for dumb people, which we fall into that category of the dumb people, because we're just cogs in the machine. This is what happens: you get used up.
Yep.
And the people that run the machine, which are the elite class, it's like, oh, look, another part.
Yep.
Just put another one in,
replace
make
it,
money.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's just frustrating. People sit there and they get mad about this government and they're mad about this government, and it's like every time it's just a circle, and it's like, what are we doing here? Why don't we just get out of can we just get out of this little box over here and just another solution? Why don't we just abolish federal government? Could we not do that and just have everything provincially ran?
No, but then what are you going to do about Canada-wide treaties?
Well, then that's between provinces. But would it be no different treating each province as a country?
Well, then you have to be recognized as a country. You have to set up things, national defense,
You know what I mean? Obviously, that's extreme.
No, but that's breaking Canada up into a bunch of little countries.
That's extreme, and obviously that one probably wouldn't work. Obviously, we have to have some sort of federal.
You have to have a federal government,
but I think they need to
deal with other countries.
They need to step back. They need to pull in the reins. You know what I mean? I think we need to get rid of the post office, because what do I get in my mail? I get flyers. That's all I get in my mail is flyers.
Yeah, the conservative government, the previous federal, was actually trying to do that. They weren't trying to keep the post office around. The Liberals.
Oh my God!
As soon as the Liberals got in power, the post office went, "Oh, can you give us money?" And the government was like, "Yeah."
Why don't we just use FedEx, Purelator, UPS? They're better than...
Okay. In the post office's defense, they are the only ones that are mandated to actually deliver mail to remote areas. So, like, FedEx and stuff like that might deliver to Okotoks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do.
But they don't deliver to the farmland place.
They don't deliver to the farmlands,
fine,
a couple miles. But that's the thing. That's
Farm man has to come into town every day, probably anyway. So why can't he just stop at the UPS store, pick up his mail? Or hold on, it's 2016. You could get your bills emailed to you. Holy crap! Oh my goodness! I have just fixed the world.
Okay. It's hard to argue against a federal-wide post office, considering we do have FedEx, UPS. It's hard to argue against that. Generally, actually, our post office is about the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've mailed from different ones, and they're all pretty close to the
I don't
same.
send a lot of mail. So.
Packages.
Yeah.
That's what I send, packages. So they're all pretty close. It's hard to argue. In Alberta, the NDP keeps saying, "Oh, we're going to hold the line. We don't want to do what the official opposition is saying is slash and burn." Well, the official opposition isn't saying slash and burn. They're saying keep it controlling cost. Mm-hmm. Listen, we've lost 100,000 jobs in Alberta. You can ask your bureaucracy to take a 10-15% pay cut. You can go to your nurses and doctors and stuff like that saying, "Sorry guys, we have no money."
I don't think they shouldn't have to take a cut. Those services shouldn't.
Okay,
but at the same time,
I'm at the opinion of they should take a cut.
Okay, why?
Because they've had a raise every year for the past 30 years.
Okay. Well, then let's just say the same.
I have never gotten a raise every year for more than 2 years in a row.
It's definitely different. Public to private is definitely different.
You're right.
What I mean, and
now,
private is very unionized.
The whole point of private is you're supposed to make more money but less job security. Public, you're supposed to make less money but better job security. But right now, public is making more than private.
In hard economic times, public offices and public services should not be getting raises.
No, they shouldn't.
I don't care if I'm sitting here.
Right off the bat, they shouldn't get a raise at all.
Yeah.
And now, okay, we could sit here and argue about them taking a pay cut. People will say, blah blah, you're cutting. You know what? 100,000 people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of people that still have their jobs are losing money because of pay cuts or our cuts
in the private sector. Yeah, but we're just in the public. I said private sector, right? In the private sector, we've done what he just said.
Yeah.
Public sector, we're still giving more money, and we're not doing anything to save money.
Yeah,
we're a business. This province is a business.
It should be treated more like a business. It should be treated
like a business. Unfortunately, it is what it is. When if you have a job in the private sector, you're just a number to the owner of your company. You're just a number
for the most part. Yeah.
For the most part, okay, that's all you are. It doesn't matter if you've been for 15 years. It doesn't matter if you've been for 20. If you've been there for a year. If there are companies in hard times, they're going to make the cuts necessary to keep their business operating until the revenues come back.
Yeah.
And the Alberta government and the federal government should be doing the same thing. I'm not saying that, okay, so maybe if you guys want to keep the...
We're not saying slash and burn. God, far from it.
If you want to keep the hospitals or we'll use hospitals as an example.
Yeah.
So why don't we put some sort of... I'm not saying bring back the healthcare premium. I'm not saying that. Maybe a user fee. So if you go to the hospital, I'm guilty of it. I've taken my kid to the hospital. I think one time in a month we went 3 times or in a couple months, a 2-3 month period, we went 3 times, 3-4 times because my youngest, she was an infant and she was sick. She constantly had fevers. She was always sick, and it was like, oh, it's just a normal cold. It's just a normal cold. And the last time we went, the doctor actually explained to us, hey, your child is building an immune system, which I knew. It's but your child could be sick 10 times a year. And it could be all condensed into the winter season because of we're inside and we're all this. And I'm like, oh.
Don't you have a family doctor?
Yeah, but like if your kid is you try to get into a family doctor can I get into the doctor? Oh, that'll be 2 weeks from now, and you're like, well, my kid isn't sleeping and like fucking high fever and you know what I mean.
Okay,
we go to the children's hospital and it's like, well,
okay, in a situation like that, like when the doctor after the doctor explained, it was easier to take. Right?
I went, oh. Okay, now I know that I'm gonna, because you think, after 24 hours of a fever, that's not normal. You know what I mean? So you go, okay, I'm gonna go just to make sure. Now it's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna I'll push it to 2 days, 3 days, something like that, and it's like because that's what I do with me, right? If I have a fever, I'm like, whatever, I'll just sleep it off or whatever,
Suffer for a while.
Suffer for a little while, and it's like it's gonna suck for that time period, but so what I'm proposing maybe is a user fee for people who abuse our free healthcare. So if you're a chronic emergency room visitor, then maybe you should get charged $50. Obviously, there have to be if you go to the hospital, I should make an emergency room trip. What? Once, twice in my lifetime, maybe.
Never.
Maybe
you never ever want to go to the emergency room.
Obviously, you never want to go, but if you break an arm or if you have something that you're like, oh my god, I can't breathe or something like that, then okay. But if you're going to the emergency room for a common cold and you go there two times a year, every 2 months, then maybe we should flag you and go, sorry, we're going to send you bills.
They're supposed to have electronic records of this stuff now, which should make it a lot easier.
Yes.
Like I know, for your family doctor, you may have to wait a couple weeks, but you know what? I only tend to go if there's something that's of concern for me.
Yeah.
If I have a cold, I tough it out.
Yeah.
If I have a cold for a month, I might decide I think I might go to the doctor for.
I've had a cold for probably 3-4 weeks. Like it's just a nagging cold.
Yeah.
Nothing that's like serious, but it's because stress. That's why mine doesn't go away.
Stress.
You know what I mean? But I just think that there should be some way of
There
recouping something from people who abuse systems.
There are ways to figure everything out. It's just a lot of politicians think they know the right way to do it. They don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And they charge headstrong into trying to get through
it's
everything.
My way. It's my way because it's the right way. And it's like, whoa, stop. You're not the smartest. You're not the smartest person in the world. Let's take ideas from everybody.
You are the smartest person in the world.
Well, no,
you're not necessarily right all the time.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating to sit here and just watch. And because I heard somebody was telling me a story about we were talking about EI, right? And they were saying over in the East Coast, somebody was trying to get their lobster processed, right? But they couldn't find anybody to work because it was people made more money staying on EI than they would that he could pay. And I'm like, okay, does that not seem like a problem? This is going to sound bad, but I don't feel bad for these oil field workers. I do feel bad because they don't have work, but I don't feel bad for them in the fact that hey, you're making $10,000 a month, and then you've been doing it solidly for when was the last time? 2008, right? Is when we had a big job.
Okay, even if they were doing it solidly for 3 or 4 years, it's like $10,000 a month, $120,000, $360,000. $360,000, you could have your car paid off, you could have most of a mortgage paid off, and still live pretty decent. Whereas you could get a McDonald's job and still manage to pay your mortgage.
You could still live, you could still function until that comes back. You know what I mean? You would still maintain if you have,
But say you make it's just because we have lower standards.
Well, maybe, yeah. I guess when you make that kind of money, you're like, oh, I can buy a boat, I can buy an RV, and it's like I think that. The accountability needs to be put back on the individual more than it is now. I need to be responsible for me. It's not up to somebody over here to take care of me when I'm out of a job. Stuff like that, I don't make enough money to put savings away. So I'd be fucked, So the things that I propose would have majorly affected me. You know what I mean? I don't make $10,000 a month. If I did, I would be swimming in money. Even after taxes, they take what do they take on $10,000? 35%.
45 maybe.
Okay, so you take home $5,500. Like
$5,500 a month to us is a lot of money.
huge. Like huge, man. Huge.
You know, you could almost go $500 a week for mortgage, which is,
You know,
a buddy of mine. He works, and that's how much he pays for his mortgage, and he's not making $5,500 a month.
So when those people who from the oil patch who are laid off, who were making the good money for, years and years and years, and now you're like, oh, I can't, feed my family. It's like, well, whose fault is that? It's not the government's fault. It's your fault, and you need to look into the mirror and go, how can you blame the government? How can you sit there and you put it on yourself?
So this will lead well into our next conversation, actually. So,
That's all I got to say about that, guys. I don't.
So, yeah.
As
There's no closing arguments. We're going to talk about politics.
Yeah, as you've seen
The NDP budget's coming out on Tuesday,
man.
so we're going to be talking about
This
that
week.
too. Yeah, of this week. So
as you guys can see, my view on government is definitely different.
I'm a little bit more of an establishment man, actually. So
Very, very different. So, guys, thanks for listening. It's good to be back. It's good to be spewing my mouth on the interwebs again. Don't forget to follow us on the Facebook.
Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes.
That's right.
Because we are on iTunes.
That's right. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, and goodbye.